Namaste, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the NPL. Time for the end of day wrap. You may notice I'm actually not at the cricket ground for once. I'm waiting to do one of the things I always do every few days here. This is my barber there. He's going to be seeing me in a couple of minutes for a head shave, and about time I trim this beard up. And actually, being honest, what ended up happening was I did a video on the outfield, didn't quite work. So we're here at my local barber here in Salty Mode, ready to go. Okay, let's run through the day. It was a super Saturday, and what a day it was. The crowd was quite brilliant again. A complete and utter sellout. It was absolutely packed. And in the morning, there was certainly more Sudurpaschim fans than we saw for the Lumbini Lions, although they were pretty well supported too. For the Lions, they had to win today, really, didn't they? They played two, they'd lost two. I feel a lot for Rohit Paudel, because yesterday afternoon, he put on an absolute masterclass with the bat, scoring 95. But what he ended up having to do was come straight back into action this morning and try and rally the troops. He did his job with the ball, and I actually thought that he was probably the pick of the bowlers. But it was all about not one man this time for Sudurpaschim. So often we think about them, we think about Dipendra Singh Airee. He was exceptional, yes, with 39 off 19. He's now striking at well over 200 across the whole tournament. But no, it was all about the man born in Buckinghamshire who plays his professional cricket at Northamptonshire. He was the youngest ever actually to debut for Northants as a 15-year-old. So he's always been thought of as one for the future. Saif Ali Zaib up at the top. He made 90 off 61 balls. He played superbly well. And then he followed it up in the second innings with 3 for 30. Probably the best all-round performance we've seen in the entire competition thus far, and a rightful winner of the Siddartha Bank Player of the Match. In terms of the bowling, well, they took early wickets. Again, Scott Kugelheim, he's been a bit of the unsung hero for the Sudurpaschim Royals. He took 2 wickets in the first over. Brandon McMullen keeps doing what he does, using that new ball, getting it to shape away. He picked up 3 for, and like I said, Saif Ali Zaib rounded out his sensational day with 3 for 2. But the thing I haven't mentioned, the Lumbini Lions, it could have been a heavy defeat if it wasn't for one man. Probably one of the best innings we've seen from any Nepal batter in the entire tournament. We saw the youngster Bibek Yadav step up. I think for me, he's growing as a cricketer. He's one that Monty Desai is going to look at going forward now as being the permanent finisher in that T20 team. We all know about the power he has, and most of the 7-6s that he hit, they were straight down the ground. He played wonderfully well, but it was never quite going to be enough. And in terms of Lumbini's chances now in this tournament, it's going to be must win from here. They've played 3, they've lost 3, and they're back in action again tomorrow. I'm not sure just how difficult that schedule is, and that's going to be a big factor for Rohit Paudel's team. Don't win tomorrow, that's probably it for them in this 8-team inaugural Nepal Premier League. Then we were straight back into action, and it was a really good contest, a gripping one. Shikhar Dhawan was in town, and the fans were loving the sight of Shikhar coming in and enjoying the crowd, the passion, the atmosphere. There was a lot to enjoy about that contest, but I'll tell you what wasn't to enjoy for the Karnali Yaks, the collapse. It was shocking. At one point they were 133 for 5. You were thinking, okay, 155, 160. They lost 5 wickets for no runs. They ended up with 133 all out, and when they got to that position, you thought that Sandeep Lamachani's side, having won the toss and chosen to have a bowl first, you would have thought they would have been hugely confident of chasing it down on what we thought was a good wicket. The standout batters for the Yaks, that was William Basisto. He really struggled at first, but then he started switch hitting, sweeping, and just played really nicely. He made 50, followed up with a wicket with the ball in his player of the match performance, and you'll find out why in a moment, because the Yaks somehow defended that 133. Special mention too for Dev Canal. Thought he played really nicely. He's shown throughout this tournament just how well he gets into line, into shape. My co-commentator HD Ackerman has been talking about how much he likes the tall young former Nepal under-19 captain, and finally he delivered with some runs today after a couple of low scores. But what an experience getting to open the batting with Shikhar Dhawan, who got a low score himself today. So then out they went in defence of their 133, and we spoke about we're going to have that moment of the day today. I've forgotten it the last few days, but for today's moment of the day, well, it was quite something. Shikhar Dhawan was mic'd up. I was talking to him directly alongside Sriram, my co-commentator, the former Indian international. It was great to see them engage and interact in real time. And one of the questions I asked Shikhar in the second over, I said to him, tell me your thoughts on the young Nepal talent. Have you been impressed by the young players? How good have they been? and he called out in that over, just as he was bowling, the 16-year-old Bipin Sharma. He's been so good. 6 weeks ago, he probably wasn't even in the picture to play in this tournament. Discovered through the talent hunt, a native of Karnali, and not just brought into the squad, but brought into the starting 11. He's already had a player of the match performance, and then 2 balls after Shikhar said it, what did he do? He got Martin Guptill out. He was quite brilliant, as was the crucial difference maker for me. The man who's bowled so well, Nandan Yadav, came in, bowled with no shortage of pace, really good at the death. And the wickets kept falling. Nicholas Curtin tried his best. Lakesh Bam got them off to a good start. But Akib Ilyas hasn't had a tournament that I would have expected of him. Remember, he's been down with that sickness too. He's such a good player, but he was cleaned up early, and then all the pressure went on to Curtin. There was a marvellous caught and bowled to dismiss Bashir Ahmed. That was a turning point too from the returning player from the under-19s. And then, I think it was 15 off the final over. Nandan Yadav, he held his nerve, 3 for 20, something in and around that. And ultimately, despite Sandeep Lamachani and Pratish GC and even Chris Soul's best efforts, they just couldn't get over the line. Massive game in terms of the context for that 4th qualification spot. Even you could be thinking of the Yaks getting up to 3rd or 2nd if they win out from here. But now for the Kings it gets tough. They've played 4 and they've only won 1. They may need to win their last 3 games to get into the playoffs because their net run rate is not in great shape. I have no doubt that Kevin O'Brien is going to think that that is a game that got away from them today. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for a Super Saturday. I think it's time for me to get that head shave in and get tidied up for tomorrow. We've got another double header on Sunday and then rest day Monday. I promise you one thing, we need that. Thanks so much for following along. I'm going to see you very shortly. It's all live again on Star Sports tomorrow.